Learn to root online at your own pace in the comfort of your home. Visit therebornartiststudio.com for more details. Take your reborning to the next level by visiting eBorns on YouTube. This podcast is brought to you in part by True Borns, producer of authentic kits for over 16 years. Visit trueborns.com for quality vinyl reborn doll kits and silicons.
Hi everyone, I'm Lizbeth Devlin from the Reborn Artist Studio.
And I'm Emily Elliott from eBorns.
And welcome to another edition of Reborn Rap.
Yeah, welcome you guys. We have an amazing episode today.
We do. I'm very excited. Our interview is with JoyLynn Wong, and she's a personal friend of yours. I don't know anything about her, but all of the wonderful things I've heard you mention, I'm really looking forward to the interview today.
Yeah, you're going to love her.
Yeah. So what have you been up to, Miss Emily?
Well, I finished my Lori finally, and I got her shipped out. She's actually out for delivery right this second.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, I love this baby. It's one of those babies that makes you really passionate about reborning again. I've been a little rut, and this just like boosted me right up.
Yeah, you did a tremendous job on her. She's absolutely gorgeous. And while you were rooting, you were sending me pictures. And oh my gosh, that rooting is just absolutely outstanding.
Thank you so much. That means so much coming from you.
And you used alpaca?
I did.
Oh my gosh. And okay, you mono-rooted alpaca. So for anybody that doesn't know, that is like one hair per hole. And alpaca is so fine. I mean, it's like a whisper. Nothing like human hair. If you look at your human hair is really thick compared to alpaca. So talk about patience. Don't ever ask if you have patience, because that took a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I can't wait I'm going to give a little shout out to her buyer, Shelly Ogden, who is amazing. And she actually turns out she's one of my students, which I didn't know when I sold it to her.
And it just turns out, too, that she's one of mine as well.
And she watches the podcast.
She does. So, hi, Shelly. And actually,
hi, Shelly.
Shelly also buys my clothing line, too. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, that 3 degrees of separation. So, hi, Shelly, if you're out there.
Yeah, hi. It was extra special for me too, because I don't know if you get this. I do. Every time I send out a baby, no matter how great it is, I get that like pit, that feeling in the pit of my stomach going, oh my gosh, are they going to love it? Are my photos accurate enough? Are they going to be happy? And it's amazing. And she actually was able to watch me from the very first layer, because I used Lori for a class.
Right.
So it's like, I know she knows exactly what the baby looks like. Like now there's no nervousness. I am just excited. I'm like, Get him, open him up. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I think we all get like that. Like when I ship a baby and I know that it's going to arrive, say on a Tuesday, all Tuesday, I'm like waiting to hear. And then if you don't hear anything on a Tuesday and by Wednesday, you're like, oh, what happened? But yeah, you're like walking on eggshells until you get that message back saying, oh, I love her, love him, whatever. So that's
I know.
What else is going on? Because you've got some other exciting news for us.
I do. I have been working on some products that McPherson's is going to carry. I've been working on them for a very long time. And today, actually, one of them is available at McPherson's.com. And it is my powder nails set that I use in my classes. And I've sent you some to try as well.
Yeah, and you turned me on to it because I was having a lot of problems with sometimes these kits have pits on them, and even if you use a primer, paint still gets stuck on them. You were the one that turned me on to powders and powdered nails, and they're just absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, I did some custom colors. I have them in this little set. So you'll get 3 colors, moons, beds, and tips. And then they come with the little brushes that you'll need as well. And so you can buy them at McPherson's. I carry them on my website too, eborns.com, but I just have like limited amounts. I'm mainly just sell them to students, but now you could buy them either place. And it's just exciting to, I can go to McPherson's and see my own product with my own name on it.
How amazing is that? And we have a video actually just showing a little bit of the nails and you actually applying the nails.
Yeah, it is like the simplest way that you can apply nails. And I think it looks the most realistic. Like they just look so subtle, so realistic, and it's almost foolproof, really.
Yeah, and the one thing I really like about it too is it's not a French manicure. It's
No.
baby nails and it's realistic looking.
Yeah, they're my favorite. So thank you. Like you're making me feel more excited about it again.
I think I know you really, really well. And one thing about you is you are such a go-getter. And when people are complaining about business not thriving and business not going anywhere, you're not one of those people. You sit back and you say, what can I do to develop my business? And you're constantly working on new things. And it's just, you're a real go-getter. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you for getting this product in McPherson's. That's just amazing. It really is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, buddy.
Finally, it's like I was working on this and I have one more Milia mix product that's coming as well. But I've been working on this all year and there were times it was like really frustrating. I had to, I'm trying to do color recipes and running into problems, like all this stuff where it's like, it's never going to get done. And now I'm like, all that hard work paid off. Like here they are. And it just motivates me because my schedule is insane.
Yep.
But now I know what the feeling is to have it really paying off. So it's like, whatever, I'll just get through all this stuff. And next year I'll be like, oh, look at this stuff paying off.
And honestly, we just hit February. And you've had an absolutely incredible year so far.
I know. It's great.
It's so good. Like have some of that rub off on me. So no, you've done absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of you. And it's
Thank you.
Well, very well earned and well deserving. So
thank you.
And I've also tried your Milia mix, which isn't out just yet. But we'll talk about that a little bit more because that is a great product too. I like that you do all the hard work and I get to try out the product. So, that's what I call teamwork.
I know, right? You pick it up in other areas.
Exactly. Oh, well, maybe, we'll see. And then we have some exciting news to announce. And some people may have heard about this, but I think most people haven't. But there is a new doll show coming to the West Coast. So our good friend Janie Scott, hi Janie, we met up with her and we were talking about doll shows, and I guess the concept was kind of born at that point where Janie was talking about how there is no doll show in the West Coast, and talk about go-getters. Here's another go-getter. So Janie has put together a doll show. It will be 2026 is when we're going to be seeing this doll show. It's going to have classes. It's going to be in California. Ontario, California, which I believe is about 45 minutes away from Anaheim. So if you're planning a trip with a family, send the family off to, Disneyland, and then you can go to the doll show. There's going to be classes at the doll show. The dates are February 23rd to 26th is going to be classes, and that's Monday to Thursday. Then Friday the 27th, she's going to have a tea party because the theme is kind of like Mad Hatter tea party theme. And the actual physical doll show will be February the 28th, which is a Saturday, and Sunday, March the 1st. So we're super excited about it. Janie actually asked us to be on the team. And the response she's had has been incredible. And I know that a lot of the people in the West Coast have really been needing a doll show. And of course, a lot of us from Central and from East Coast will definitely be heading that way to go to the doll show too.
Yeah, and I think she picked a great location in Ontario. There's a major international airport in Ontario, but it's definitely so much cheaper than like Los Angeles or anything. Yeah. So I feel like it is really accessible. I can't wait. I am very, very excited about it.
I think the hotel she's using is it the DoubleTree? Did I see something? Yeah, and obviously we'll have more information on the doll show as we get a little bit closer. But the doll show is called the West Coast Doll Show. So if you want to go to Facebook and look it up, we'll also put a link in the comments too for you to make sure you're following the progress. And hopefully we'll see you guys at the West Coast Doll Show. So I guess we're ready for our guest. Our guest is JoyLynn Wong from
Scud About
Scud About.
Reborn Nursery.
Good,
Scud About.
you got it. Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
All right.
If you guys know how this is spelled, you would know why I'm so excited saying that right now.
Exactly. All right, let's get started and meet Joy. She is in the green room now. So let's say hello to Joy Wong.
So we're here with Joy Wong from Scud About Reborn Nursery. Hi, Joy.
Hello.
Hi, Joy. Nice to meet you finally. I've heard so much about you.
Nice to meet you too.
I know. I cannot even tell you how many requests we got to have you on.
Yeah, you were probably one of the most requested guests that we'd have on the show. So
yeah,
that's good. Sweet.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
So it's great to have you on. So let's jump in. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about like how you got in? I feel like your discovering Reborn story was kind of like a kismet type thing. So why don't you just tell people?
It very much was. So my son had a friend who he would play with after school on the playground, and this friend's mom, she and I would sit and we would chat. And we got to talking about artistry. She's a painter, and I said, "Oh, I'm a painter. I love art as well." And she started to tell me about her current medium, which is reborning. Her name's Gina Gabriel of St. Cloud Nursery. And I told her that I love to paint. This is a really cool art form. She brought a doll to the playground and I held it. I found myself, doing the mom sway and rocking and just being completely enamored with this doll. And she said, "Well, why don't you give it a try?" Said, "Maybe I will." And she kind of didn't give me a choice. About a week later, she dropped off a box of spare parts with my mother-in-law, who happened to be babysitting the kids at the time. She just hands my mother-in-law this box full of doll parts and says, "This is for JoyLynn." So when I came home, my mother-in-law says, "I think this is for you." And there's heads and arms and legs. And I was like, oh my goodness. So she told me just use whatever paint you have, try it out, see if you like it. And so I started with this little bountiful baby head that she had given me, and I fell irretrievably in love with the art of reborning. So yes, it very much was a kismet type situation where, had our sons not been friends and had we not met on the playground, I'm not sure I ever would have discovered reborning and sculpting as a byproduct.
Yeah, it's unusual to have an artist that lives near you, let alone bump into one, except if you're at a doll show, of course. But how interesting. Definitely kismet. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like to say that I'm always right, but I remember seeing your very first baby on the forum and I was blown away. I was like, you are going to go places and like, look at you now. Like, I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. Like you are such a natural and I just feel like you have gone so far, so fast, just like out of a cannon.
You've been a part of that though, because having Gina sort of bring me into this lovely group of artists the way that she did, to kind of immediately be nurtured and encouraged. And my modeling wouldn't be what it is without you, Emily, because you were, that was one of my first questions. I was like, I can't figure out how to model. The pattern won't stay. And you gave me all of your advice and your tips and they worked. And so you were instrumental in that. So thank you.
That's lovely. Wonderful. So how long did you go? You went from actually painting reborns and then you started sculpting. Like, how did that transition happen?
Actually a big part of it was, I remember painting, being a few dolls in. I think I've done maybe 20. I think I've painted about 20 dolls. And I think maybe about 18 in. Bonnie Brown posted a group on Facebook for sculpting. It was called the Sculpt Along.
Oh,
and I had thought a few times, like, how cool would it be to have a baby that was made completely from scratch? I, envisioned it, sculpted it, somehow got it produced, painted it. Like that would be the dream to me. And so when she posted that group, it was kind of like the little kick in the bum that I needed to try it. And so I went and I bought the clay, and they picked a baby for everyone to sculpt, but I had a very clear image in my head of what I wanted to sculpt. So I kind of used the group just to kind of like bounce ideas off of and get feedback on for what I was envisioning myself. And it was wonderful for that. Just such a delightful group of people. And they were so encouraging. And So it was maybe about a year after I started painting that I decided to try my hand at sculpting.
Wow, that's really jumping right in. And that group is still on Facebook, because I think I joined it not so long ago too. We'll put a link. We'll put a link to that group for anybody that's thinking about learning how to sculpt.
Yeah, it's very helpful, and there's a lot of references in there for anatomy and proportions, and people who will give very honest but gentle feedback, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine how hard it is. Well, I guess if you're a natural, you're a natural. I tried to sculpt a baby butt once, and it was like, I was like, I'm not a sculptor. But how was the process for you? Like, was it kind of like painting where it came more naturally, or did you really struggle? 'Cause I feel like your first sculpt was amazing.
Oh, thank you. I look back, it's so funny because I've only been doing this for, about a year. But each time I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I could change that. You know, I want to go back and I want to fix the things that I look back and I see. You know, I wasn't doing very well at the time. And even with my current one, I'm like, oh, I would tweak that and I would tweak that. It did come pretty naturally because faces, people, come naturally for me. Other types of artwork, like landscapes, like I didn't paint that. Landscapes, animals, those types of things are very difficult for me, like very difficult and frustrating for me. But people come naturally, like the curves of face, contours, things like that. I feel that flow, I think, when I'm sculpting. So that comes more easily. The proportions drive me crazy. I will think that I have the right size foot, and then I look at a picture and I'm like, it's a little big. So,
You know what always gets me about sculpting? The symmetry. I mean, it's like I can't pluck two eyebrows so they look right on my head. And here are people that create these, even amount of puffness and cheeks and lips. And it blows me away. So I know I couldn't be a sculptor. So
the interesting thing is if you ever take a sculpt, pretty much any sculpt, and you hold it next to you in front of a mirror, you'll see the asymmetry that maybe you don't pick up on when you're just looking at it. Because we're all asymmetrical. And I think that's one thing I like is trying to find little ways to make sculpts distinct because we are too. Nobody is perfectly,
Exactly. Yeah. Not unless you have a good plastic surgeon.
And how did you get your first sculpt produced?
So my first two that I did were not picked up for production. I sent out proposal letters, and understandably, I think I wasn't ready. They weren't ready for production into vinyl. However, Susan Gibbs, the lovely Susan Gibbs, noticed them, and she was interested in purchasing them for her silicone painting classes. So the first two were produced by Susan. Or one of them has been, one of them is going to be exclusively for her silicone painting classes. And then my third one, Chardin, he was produced by Trueborn, by Bobby Barfoot. So she was kind of keeping an eye on things, and I think she kind of knew when my work was ready for vinyl production as well. And so she accepted Chardin and produced him through her company.
Wonderful.
That's awesome. So is that the normal process? Like for new sculptors who are interested in getting kits produced, you just kind of write up a letter and show photos and send them off to dealers that produce?
Correct. Yes. So you kind of describe your process and pictures from all angles so that they can get an idea of whether or not it's able to be produced. And then you just wait to hear back and hope for the best.
That's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
I always wondered how that works.
Yeah.
Like if, I didn't know if there was like a real, I don't know, something that people had to do, or if dealers just kind of kept an eye out and were like, oh, you look good. What do you got? Type of thing. So you've had Trueborns produce your kits right now. Can you just kind of tell people a little bit about that process versus like sculptors who produce on their own?
Sure. So sculptors who produce on their own, they choose the factory, they choose the vinyl, they choose the prototype artists. Pretty much every decision belongs to them because they're doing all of the work. They are sending in the kit, approving the kit. It comes to them, they box it, they ship it out. It's a lot of work. For me, because Bobby is my producer, Trueborn is my producer, a lot of those decisions go to her. So she, she already has a factory that she works with. She kind of, makes sure that the process keeps running. She ultimately is the one who chooses the prototype artists because they are essentially her marketers as a producer. So a lot of those decisions rest with her, but I like to, I'll put a bug in her ear, if I see an artist that jumps out or someone recommends an artist to me. My goal, and I've talked with Bobby about this too, is for each kit to have at least one artist who's never done a prototype before, because I think that's such a special experience, and it gives some exposure to someone who's new and who really deserves the recognition. So that's something that
that's
I
great.
like to try and make sure to do.
I love that. I feel like Bobby does that a lot too. Like she's given so many people kind of like the opportunity to really be elevated. And I love that she produces so many sculpts and gives like new sculptors a chance.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
And I would say that one name that has popped up just about in every podcast we've done, even with Joanna Kay, was Bobby Barfoot. She's given so many sculptors a start. She's given so many prototype artists their start. I mean, she really is just like, I don't know. I don't know what we'd do without her.
Yeah. She's good for the community.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, she loves to see people grow. And one thing I appreciate about her too is I can send her photos of my progress, and she will take a look at things and give me feedback. I love learning. I always want to improve and I want to learn. And so it's encouraging to have a producer who cares so much about making sure that happens. So she'll look at them, she'll show them to her friends and, get some feedback from them, pass it back along to me, and I can adjust as I go. And I do appreciate that too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you actually have a kit coming out for pre-order on the 28th with Reborn, don't you? Yeah.
Yes. Camellia. Yes, she will be open for pre-order on February 28th. She's going to be a limited edition of 300 available through Trueborn. And then Trueborn has a whole list of authorized dealers on their website that, you can go see. UK, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but there's just a whole bunch that should hopefully be carrying Camellia.
And how big is she? I saw some pictures of her and she's absolutely gorgeous. How big is she?
She's a little peanut. She's 17 inches. So 17 inches, but she's got the little curled legs. So I would bring over the one that I'm working on to show you, but she is currently in pieces.
She is so pretty. Like all of my students, her and your other one, which I'll ask you the status on, BEP, like everybody is so excited about these two.
Yay. I get so attached to them, and I get so anxious sending them off, and then when they come back, I'm like, you're back, you're here, I'm so happy. So right now, Beth is baby Beth. She's a bigger baby. She should be around 21 inches. She is at the factory waiting for them to come back. They're on a Lunar New Year break, so when they come back, then her production process will get started, and I'll be so anxious to have her back. I got so used to I left her in a baby bed on my kitchen table, and I got used to just seeing her every day as I would walk around the house, and I've missed her. So I'll be happy to have her back.
I'm going to do a class with that one, actually.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting. I love
yeah, she's so sweet. Well, it might be a boy. Who knows? But
who knows? I know. Yeah.
And okay, so one other thing that, of course, everyone always wants to know is what kind of advice would you give to new sculptors or people who are interested in trying to sculpt?
Joining a group like the Sculpt Along group is super helpful, because just having a crew of people around you to kind of encourage you and help you get going, I think was key for me. And then another one is to research proportions and look up that, literally thousands of pictures I've probably looked at of babies, newborn photographers on Instagram, follow them all, look at all their pictures, study all the contours, look at different angles. If you can find videos, watch like movement videos, and then just pick out people that, really seem to spur you on and offer feedback and consult with them. Those have been the most helpful things for me.
Wonderful. So John, let me ask you, how did your family accept, or how did they perceive this change in career for you? Like going, becoming a painter and a sculptor. And I'm sure it's some big changes.
They have been nothing but supportive. My husband, God bless him, when I started painting that head, I would leave it out, to dry between layers because I do air dry, and he would walk by and he would just shudder and then but so supportive. He'd be like, "It's looking beautiful. I'm sorry. It just freaks me out a little bit." But I remember the first night that I started painting like my first whole kit, and I was working on it. I was like, I'm enjoying this so much, but all I have are these old paintbrushes from the last time that I was painting. And I was like, I feel like I would enjoy it a lot more if I had some good paintbrushes. And he didn't say a word. I just heard his keys, and then I heard the door shut. And about 15 minutes later, he comes back with this beautiful new set of paintbrushes from Michael's. He's like, there you go. Because he's so supportive of any time I've done anything creative. He's my biggest cheerleader. So he's been awesome. Neither of my children had an issue with it. They think that the babies are beautiful. In fact, after I finished my first one, my son went on a Messenger Kids video, a Facebook Messenger Kids video with his friends and said, "Look what my mom made." And he showed it off to all of his friends, pranked them first and said it was his new baby sister. And then one of the sweetest moments for me is I went to my kids' school, and their teacher knew that I did this, and she asked me to show the class, and I turned it around and my son went, "Yes." And he was in 5th grade at the time, and 5th grade boys, to have a mom who's showing a doll she made could react differently. And the fact that he went, "Yes." And then was so proud of me, just made my whole day. And then my daughter's just gaga over them. She paints them with me sometimes, and she carries them around and takes wonderful care of them. So they've all been very supportive. Even the dog likes them. Charlie will, my little Charlie, I don't know where he is right now, but he'll lay down next to them if I have them on the couch or the bed.
It makes a big difference when you have that support system, because I do see on Facebook people posting that their partners or family are just like disgusted by the dolls, but having that support system, it really encourages you and eggs you on to keep going,
Yes, definitely. I'm very grateful that they've been as supportive as they have. My parents too. They've watched me do creative stuff, my whole life, and so for them to be supportive too, I'm surrounded by it, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah. Best job in the world, right?
Yes, it is.
So we have some viewer questions for you. The first one is from Reborns by Misty, and she wants to know if you usually have a vision for your sculpts before you start, or if they just come to life as you go.
It's a little bit of both. I think that I kind of have a vision in my head, and I try to execute it as best I can, but a lot of times I'll be shaping or doing something, and I'll realize that there's a feature that I wasn't expecting, and then I go, oh, I kind of like where that's going, and then I enhance that, and it moves away from maybe what I had envisioned in my head, but it always ends up better. So I have to kind of trust the process. And I do use for all of my sculpts to some degree, I go back and I look at my kids' baby pictures and all their little features from when they were tiny, because I have so many angles on them and I know them so well. So it's a little bit of both, to be honest. I'm not a portrait sculptor. We'll put it that way. I can't sit down and perfectly, I'm not Ping Lao. I can't perfectly. I just admire her portraiture so much, but that's not really my forte.
Awesome. So, okay, that kind of plays into the next question a little bit from Mermaid Mama. She wanted to know if Chardon was inspired by a real baby or just a vision in your mind.
He was more of a vision in my mind, and he came out a little more clearly as to what I was hoping to accomplish than sometimes, a sculpt does. So I knew sort of the features that I wanted him to have, and I had an idea of that, but I accidentally pressed a crease into his eye early on with a tool that I had, and I went to go smooth it out, and then I was like, oh, but I like that. So that ended up kind of being one of his key features that I wasn't expecting.
Oh, lovely. That's
awesome. You just kind of go with it.
I do, yeah. Happy little accident.
And Kelly Sullivan wants to know, what kind of reactions do you get when you tell people that you paint and sculpt lifelike dolls, like people that aren't in the Reborn community, obviously.
Sure. I mean, it's a mixed bag, and I expect that. So I never expect someone to be super enthusiastic. I kind of just expect the worst and hope for the best, which has turned out pretty well. I think people, once they know that I'm an artist and that I'm creative, if I show them actually the sculpting process first, the clay, and then move into the doll itself, there's a little bit more receptiveness because they kind of see where it started and how it ended up. I haven't had anyone be too bothered by it. I have some extended family that are like, nope, I want to see none of that. And I fully respect that. It's not for everyone. And friends as well that'll say, that's really cool, but I'm terrified. Please don't show me that. And that's fine. That's totally okay with me. But for the most part, people have been in awe and just kind of amazed that this kind of lifelikeness can be accomplished. And, you know, they're so supportive, especially friends that have kind of been with me on my other creative journeys throughout the years. They're like, oh, another one. And they're the best cheerleaders. And I'm so grateful for them. And, yeah, so it's been a mixed bag, but overall positive.
Good.
I think that's awesome. I feel like that's kind of like the standard. Like if you tell people like, oh, I paint Reborn, they're these dolls, they instantly get kind of like, you know, Chucky or something in their head.
Yeah.
And then you show them a picture and they're like, that's a doll? Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Like it kind of changes the perspective a little bit, I think, when they can actually see the artistry of it.
I'm also a little bit shy about telling anybody that I'm a full-time artist, and I have one of my dolls on the front of my phone. A couple of times I've gone out to restaurants, people have said, oh, is that your grandbaby? And I always look at them thinking, should I tell them? And I paint that. And then when I show them like the bear sculpt, how it started, and you know the progression, they're blown away by it. So, but it's still a little bit, I kind of tiptoe a little bit around it. We're hoping that the podcast will let the general public know that it's nothing to hide anymore. Yeah. You know.
Yes, I love that. That's one thing that I love when I saw that you guys were starting this podcast. I just I got so excited. Can't wait to get to know people more and hear, you know, I geek out over artistry. I'm normally a pretty quiet person, but when it comes to anything artistic, like I come alive. So I'm very excited to hear that you guys were going to do this and so honored to be invited too.
Aw,
that's lovely. We love that support.
So one more question is from Art Dollhouse. She wants to know, what creation are you the most proud of?
Probably Chardon, just because he was the first to kind of come back to me, you know, to send off and then come back and, you know, to be part of that whole process for the first time of sending him off and getting the wax mold pictures from Bobby and, you know, getting to look over things and getting those updates. And he's here with me. Here, I'll bring him over.
Oh, lovely.
A little guest appearance from my.
It's like your firstborn.
Oh, yeah.
I love that version so much too.
He always hangs
so
out with
sweet.
me. He's my little buddy. So I am very proud of this little guy, and he's my snuggle buddy. He goes all over the house with me and does laundry with me, and I even have one of my little baby carriers left over from my kids, and I tucked him in that. He's so small in there. But I'm very, very proud of him, and honestly, like, the thing I'm most proud of, besides being able to hold him and carry him, is to see artists bringing him to life. Like, I tear up every time. It is the most emotional experience to me when someone tags me and says, look, I'm painting your Chardon. And there have been so many incredible artists that have been bringing him to life. And it blesses my heart so much. It does so much for me. It brings me so much joy. And so, yeah, I'm proud of him, not only, you know, for what he is to me, but what he is to other people. And I hope that continues.
Oh, that's
I love that. That's so sweet.
That's amazing. So what are we looking forward to in the rest of 2025, coming up to 2026 from you, Joy? What are big plans that you're able to share with us?
Sure. So Milia, she will be open for pre-order on February 28th at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then she will, again, be a limited edition of 300. And then Baby Bep will be coming out later this year. She's at the factory right now, just waiting to be produced. And so none of that's actually started with her yet. And the process is kind of long and can take even longer depending on how many kits the factory is putting out at any given time. But Baby Bep should be out sometime later this year.
Fantastic. And so you're still sculpting as well behind the scenes and constantly working on other things?
I am. I can't do more than one thing at once. So right now I have my prototype Milia that I'm working on, and she just kind of takes all my energy. And then when she's done, I'll pull the clay back out and see what happens next.
Wonderful.
That's awesome. So you're going to do a special giveaway for our viewers, right?
I am. I'm going to give a Chardon kit.
Lovely.
That's awesome. So one lucky viewer will get a Chardon kit. To enter, you can go ahead and comment below this video, or you can head on over to our Facebook page and make sure that you subscribe to us, and we'll have a pinned post as always.
Fantastic. Oh, I know I can't win him, but I'm always complaining about not being able to win the giveaway.
I know. You guys have had some amazing giveways. My goodness, it would be hard for me too. I'd be like, but me too.
I know.
Stop reminding me. Yeah, I know.
I know. We'll need to start saying, well, you'll need to give us them to review first to make sure they're okay.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, it's been absolutely fabulous finally getting to meet you, because I've heard so much about you from Emily, and one of the things she said was you were really down to earth, and this has been one of the funnest podcasts we've filmed. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you, Joy. And I hope that we have you back in like a year from now and see how many you have out there. 5 years, who knows?
I would love that. Back anytime.
Wonderful. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. You know, isn't she a darling? I love these guests that come on. You know, I talk about this a lot. We see them on Facebook and they're posting stuff. But when they come on the show, we really get to know them. And she is just, what a sweetheart, really down to earth. And just, we did have a lot of giggles off camera with her. So
yeah, I know. That was fun.
Wonderful. And I'm glad you introduced me to her, because she definitely is somebody worth getting to know.
I know. She has like the biggest heart. You know, I don't know if I've actually talked about this on the podcast, but most people that follow me on Facebook know because I posted it. But my little sister was actually missing for quite a while, and she's safe now. We found her. She's okay. But Joy lives very close to where she went missing from. And she like immediately messaged me. She was like, what can I do to help? She actually printed out a ton of missing persons flyers.
Oh, she did?
She was like, I have a team to go hand these out. Like, and I've never met her in person. It, like, look at, I get like goosebumps talking about it.
I'm getting goosebumps listening to it.
It's like, it's so special. And like, I wish more people, she has a good reputation, obviously, but I wish more people knew like the essence of her personality, just like what a great person she is. And she's a great sculptor and artist, but she's a good person. Like it just makes you want to support her. And
it does.
Want like the best things for her, you know?
Yeah, a very, very talented individual. And it, like you say, it's even more enhanced when you know that they're just such a wonderful individual too. So that's lovely. That's very nice.
Yeah, it is. She's so great. And it was really interesting too. I didn't even understand like some of the differences between like having a dealer produce your sculpts. Like I didn't know they couldn't pick the vinyl color, and like all of that kind of stuff is so interesting.
It's so nice to just see somebody who is just a wonderful person and very talented. It's so nice to see them be so successful. So thank you, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. And I'm so excited about her giveaway. Chardon is an adorable sculpt. He is so popular. Like everybody loves this baby. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to see who gets him.
Yeah, another good giveaway. So, and how do they enter the giveaway? The floor is yours.
My little spiel.
Your spiel. Spiel away, girl.
To enter, you just go ahead and subscribe to our channel, comment down below this video, or you can head on over to our Facebook page and comment on the pinned post, but definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel also.
Look at you. Who needs a script when you've got Emily?
I know. I need to like pump it up though. Like a lot of those channels do. They're like, smash that subscribe button.
You do. And speaking about subscribe, please subscribe to the channel, people. We get a ton of views, don't we? We get a lot of people watching the podcast, but for some reason they don't want to hit that subscribe button. Maybe we need to do something to entice them. If you don't hit the subscribe button, Emily's going to be out on the street.
No, seriously though, you guys, we are getting close. We're like the halfway mark to our monetization goal, which obviously will help us to be able to continue the podcast.
Right.
So it really, subscribers help. Watch hours are a big thing. If you guys want to help us, like watch, let it play in the background, let it play when you're asleep, show it to your friends. That would be awesome.
That's actually a good one. So if anybody's out there, you don't have to listen to it. just play it in the background. Okay? But that helps Emily and I, because we spend a lot of time doing this podcast and we want to keep going. But unfortunately, we're full-time artists, so we need to be painting and bringing in revenue, and we can't do that while we're doing the podcast. So is that like a pity? Is that pulling on anyone's heartstrings?
I know. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's the cool thing to do. Just do it.
That's right. Like if you have a grandparent at home that's deaf or something, just put it on and let them anything for watch hours. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to bleep that out.
You'll probably forget in editing.
Oh gosh. All right.
So next episode.
Oh yeah.
We've got
Kelly Maple coming up, and Kelly Maple is a bit of an online celebrity. And she's an artist, and I believe so. She was an avid collector. That's how she started, and she's got a channel on YouTube and Instagram too. She's very big on Instagram as well. And she's actually been an artist and will be at the Dolls of the World. So again, for you collectors, you can listen in and hear all about Kelly's story.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually meet Kelly. I've been watching her YouTube channel for years.
Yeah. She's a busy lady. It was kind of hard to get hold of her.
Yeah.
But as soon as we got hold of her, she was super excited about being on the podcast. So stay tuned for Kelly.
I'm ready.
Okay, so should we watch each other? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at you. I'm about to do the same thing.
I don't want to show my nails because I haven't done my nails for a long time, so I need to like pick my thing up like this.
Don't even make me look at mine.
Well, I was looking at yours. It set me off. I'm kidding.
Oh, good. They look good on camera.
No, not really. I'm kidding. All right, guys. Thank you for watching the show. Remember, be kind to each other out there. Write nice comments. Appreciate all the work that other artists are posting. Share the love.
And we'll see you next time.
We sure will.
All right.
Reborn Rap. That's a wrap. Oh, bingo. Have you ever watched that?
I feel like you're deaf when you say.
Well, it's so funny because there are times where you think we click on time, and I'm like, no, and and I think, oh, whatever.
Maybe our headphones are lagged.
Why is it me that's dysfunctional? Why can't you be dysfunctional?
I'm all kinds of dysfunctional.
Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great evening.
Thanks, guys.